Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you see me? I think I got 3 students. Trout, I got Vajili, and I got Benjamin Brown. Can you hear me, guys? Can you see me? Good afternoon. Just text me or say, hi, good afternoon. Hi. That's great. That's great. Apologies, I had to wait for 5 minutes just to give opportunity for other students to join us. And just to let you know, the session is already getting recorded now. So in case for you to follow up with this recording session or to follow up with that in your assignment. Now, I am sharing in the screen what I've been through last time. So the logistics management, which we're going to continue for today. I don't know if all of you been with us last time, which was last week when we covered this section. It was, I believe, on Thursday. And today is the second part of the logistics management as well. I don't know, has many of you been with us last time, or maybe you have seen it online?
Oh, I didn't join the last one.
No, that's fair enough. What I will do then, it will be more make sense to do a quick recap, 5 to 10 minutes about the logistics at the start, rather than I move to the high level of procurement. So give you a better idea. That's what we covered last week. You're already having it now, covering it as well. Okay. So let's start. Well, good afternoon, everyone again. This is Louis, myself. I'll introduce myself again. I'm expert within the management subjects in operation management, logistics and supply chain. I have been teaching for the last 18, 20 years, teaching in multiple universities, and I also consultant for multiple big industries as well. Anything to do with change management, logistics, supply chain, operation management, so on. So I also cover projects and risk management. They all coverage within my remit. The logistics and supply chain management is a part of your diploma. That's why I'm covering this. And there's a multiple students from different courses, different levels. They study the logistics and supply chain management within the actual core and course model. So that's why it's been very crucial and very important to deliver this subject. And I will do a quick recap on what we have discussed last time, plus we're covering the new materials for today. Now, can you guys see my screen to start with? I'm sharing the logistics. Great. Thank you very much. That's great. You can text me as well if you like, if you don't want to talk. I think we've got 5 students now, and myself. You can text me on the chat if you like, if you don't want to talk. If you are busy, no problem. I know many of you either employed or could be in different countries where you have a different hours and different time for you where you are. Anyway, so we cover logistics management first. What's the logistics management? Let me show you something. Logistics management, it's a big part and the process engine of the supply chain. There is something called supply chain, and probably all of you have here everywhere you go. Supply chain for health sector, that during COVID. Supply chain of petrol, of fuel, of diesel. Supply chain of food, of grocery. Supply chain of this, supply chain of that. You know? Under that supply chain, there's a number of functions. We will study supply chain after this logistics when we finish, and that will be probably towards the end of February, beginning of March. The supply chain is the bigger entity. Under the supply chain, there is an engine called logistics management. What's the logistics? Logistics is a number of a plan. Number of plans. You implement it in a way in order to control the efficiency of your warehouses, of your transportation, of your raw materials origin, of your origin of production to your customers. So the logistics itself, it doesn't do much with the supply chain. Supply chain is the bigger umbrella. Logistics are the engines who they drive each function. Now, when we talk about each function in logistics could be transportation by sea, by road, by trucks. Could be also warehouses, when you have a stock level, inventories. Could be distribution places, when you have distribution houses, when you store things and you distribute it. So
Hello,
I think we're going to students. Yeah, he's invited now. Thank you very much. No problem. And what's in the way with the logistics could be also retailers. Logistics will include a number of engine and activities in the function to follow the flow of the goods from the raw materials all the way to consumer. Obviously, you can imagine that require production, storage, transportation, and all that. That all come under the logistics functioning. And the supply chain is the bigger umbrella of how you manage your supply chain as a process. But anyway, we're going to study all this in the next month or two. But today, we're not going to cover logistics because we covered it last week, actually. But we do a quick recap. And then after that, we can see what is the new materials for today will bring us into. Now, I would like to show you a couple of things about logistics, actually. Why do we need to study logistics? The reason for that, if you look at the car, let's say an old BMW, only 10–15% of that car is produced in Germany. It's not even at a BMW, it's even Germany. Germany is big itself. Plus the other parts, for example, you can see on the screen, they all over the places. Now, first thing you might can say why. The reason for why, because some countries, they might have a certain technology relatively cheaper. They might have raw materials relatively cheaper. They might have a good quality products where they can produce with lower labor cost, lower production line, and cheaper cost. Plus they are approved manufacturers. That's why people like BMW and others, for example, they can use a number of parts from different origins. But anyway, so they got steering columns, boxes from Austria. They got compressors, air conditioning from Japan. They got handling and oil pumps and that from Italy. They got from stuff from Belgium, Italy, Japan, USA, Mexico, South Africa, Switzerland, anyway. So you can say now, well, this is hard because if I assemble a car, I will need all these parts from different countries. And that's lead me to the supply chain umbrella itself, how to have a number of suppliers reliable in different countries, and the quality of supplying is different. Plus, you have a solid logistics management engine in order to bring all these parts, store them properly, keep them ready for production. So you can know now the challenge when you have a number of parts coming from different. So you need to have a proper registry, a proper logistics systems, a proper barcoding, a proper in and out system with conveyor belts and a proper warehouse. Otherwise, you don't know what stock level you are at, and you're not going to be able to produce one car. You know, so that's where we want to come to. That's what we want to learn from today. Okay, so you can see, as I said there on the screen, I covered all this last week, so I cannot stop on it for long. But again, we got there the Porsche. You can see they got the engine efficiency from 4 different companies. They got their another part, sensors hardware. They got the battery storage. They got the driver safety, everything. Navigation system from 3–4 different companies. And each company could be a different part of the world. Now, this is where the supply chain and logistics play a big part in our current modern international world. Now, one of the big examples really on logistics and supply chain management, it's what's happened to us during the COVID, the coronavirus, the first impact, where we had difficulties on logistics and supply chain to produce masks, to produce oxygen, to produce medical equipment in order to save people's lives. You know, so that's one of the things which is really make the difference. But then, when you have a solid supply chain and logistics, you can then save people's lives. But anyway, so let's continue. I'm going to go briefly for the next 5–10 minutes through that before I start with the new material. But anyway, so you need to keep this in mind for your assignment and even your reporting as well. What's on the screen now? What are the logistics activities? the demand forecasting, inventory management on warehouse, the communications, material handling. You have forklifts, people, conveyor belts, all that inside the production line of that. Ordering process, how fast you order, packaging, boxing, packaging, containers, whatever, all that is a logistics engine. Parts and services support. Very more important, you have obviously plant and warehouse selection. When you're choosing your plant and warehouse, you have to choose it in the right place, otherwise you'll have a problem. Procurement, which is what we're going to cover today. Reverse logistics, what we're covering today. One important other things we're going to cover today, traffic and transportation. When you have things delivered by sea, when you have to deliver by airplanes or by buses or by trucks or by driving, all things make a different time scale and different cost in your overall product. And one of the last things very important there on the screen is warehousing and storage. If you don't have a proper warehouse, inventory, barcodes, in and out system to track and trace everything properly, you will have no hope by managing the overall entire process properly. So this is really the main activities and functions of the logistics engine. You need to keep this in mind in your assignment, real life, future learning, and everything. Now, has anyone please got any questions before I start rolling on through our sessions today? If you can please just text me. You don't need to talk if you like. Just a simple text, yes or no. If you have a question, fire across, raise your hand or talk. That would be great. If you don't have any questions, I'll continue. You still need to let me know there is no question so I can continue. Otherwise, I have to stop, keep wait for your answer. Thank you. I got a thumbs up. Thank you, Benjamin. Apologies. I'm going through the logistics really quick, but that's been covered last week, gentlemen. You know, we cannot stop on the logistics itself all day today, because this today was meant to be covering a new 20 slides on a procurement, transportation, and reverse logistics. But anyway, so no questions. I'm happy with that. We can continue now. What else? I will go through another 2 slides within logistics just to make sure I'll be happy that we touched base on it as some of you wasn't with us. Now, this one there, this slide showing me what are the interaction activities. First one, transportation. I don't want to keep repeating it. Inventory maintenance, which is mean your warehouse management. Order and process, very important. The packaging, very important, crucial. Warehousing, said about that many times. The location, the size of the warehouse, where we're getting the things from, store it, barcode it, in and out, conveyor belts, handling inside, very important. Next one down, obviously, the material handling comes straight away. Moving parts could be forklifts, people, conveyor belts, anything inside the production line or inside the warehouse. Very important. And finally, the information maintenance. What that means, the information overall. In, out, what's my stock level? What's my production level? Do I have enough stock to cover my production? Do I need to contact my suppliers within my supply chain arena to have more deliveries? All that we're going to study about it. And I'll show you examples and videos of people like Subway, Volkswagen, people like that, the big people, how they manage their supply chain and logistics. And you're going to see the challenges. Other slide I would like to cover for you, it's the manufacturing one. Obviously, this is also important on the screen. This one is the logistics product life cycle. Where does it start? And where the information fall apart? So does it start already from the raw materials, distribution planning, ordering process, everything? Sorry, I have hello sir. Would be great if the slides can be shared both for current session. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Waisi, yeah. The material should be shared already. I have been told by the school that the material should be shared. This is 43 slides. I have covered 20 to 21 on the first session last week, and today I'm covering the rest of it, the other 20. Now, this definitely could be with you, and if I can send you that on here. Can I send it? I don't think so, I can. No. There is nowhere to attach or send anything to you here more than just broadcasting. But definitely, if you request it from the London Business School, 100%, they will share it with you, and that will include last week. I can share, yeah, definitely share it by email. I don't know, do you guys have an access to a university portal? University hub, teaching hub, university portal, all teaching materials should be there. Do you have that? You must have an access to somewhere. University email, sorry, the school email, school hub, school teaching library, anything. You must have access to that. Everything should be there. Yes, access, but not this. Okay, yeah, no, I remind, actually, before we forget, let me text the actual HR lady, so make sure that's everything in line. I said, hi, students are asking if logistics management slides to be shared with them, please, after the session. I would say that's fine. Okay, I text her, and I'm sure she will be more than happy to sort things out for you, definitely. Yes. So, oh, that's your email, Yahoo. No, I can't send to personal emails, but definitely we're going to share it through the college, university, in the right way, as you joining this course. Now we still have some noise from. I have to mute you, Bridget. Thank you very much. I have to mute you guys when there is noise coming. I know something. Okay, no problem. You're welcome. Anyway, so this is the life cycle of the logistics: distribution, planning, ordering process, transportation, purchasing, manufacturing. You can see there. Now there is another one I would like to cover. This one. This is very important. If you look at the screen, the overall process is called supply chain, all the supply chain. However, it does start from the raw materials, all the way to the textile production, all the way to the apparel, all the way to the retail and customs. So you can see these processes are pretty standards. However, from the production to the retail is where we need where we need the actual logistics engine, from the textile to the retail, because there's a number of warehousing, production, storage, transportation, all there. Now, this is what I'd like to cover actually, and another one there. So that gives you a time scale. If you have your factory there, you have raw materials coming in, you need 1 week transportation. So basically you can design your plan. If you have a number of steps in your logistics and you would like to understand how long would it take me to produce a jumper like this, okay? How long would it take me? If I need the raw materials 1 week, if I need to production 2 weeks, if I need transportation 3-4 weeks in between, that give you indication when you put a plan how many weeks you would need in order to cover that. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things you'd like to consider and you would like to see, which is a great thing. Anyway, so if you look at the screen, you know. If you look at the screen, you can find out. I'm just trying to find an example for you so I can show you a bit more details for you. Okay, so this is it. In this one there, it's showing you how many weeks. The weeks where they're coming from. They're coming from the one previous. If I need 6 weeks on the factory, I need 1 week to travel, then 1 week to warehouse it, another 1 week to travel, 2 weeks, go to another warehouse, distribution, and that. The overall, when you count it, let's say gave me 66 weeks in order to produce the start to end process. Now, that start to end process is 66 weeks. That doesn't mean it's for one jumper or one pajamas. No. That could be for 1,000, could be for 2,000. It depends how big is your raw material supplying, your warehouses, and your production line is. And within that 66 weeks, if you're going to produce 2,000 jumper, that means you're going to make a good revenue. It could be you may be producing a 1 million jumper. We don't know. All depends on the size of your set. Now, okay, gentlemen, I cannot really stop any longer at this, unfortunately, because we need to start with what we're studying for today, which is where you can see on the screen, which is procurement, e-procurement, spending analysis. Now, there is only one thing I would like to cover before we start to this. Has anyone got any questions about logistics, please? Before I start with no questions, I think. No questions, I think. Okay, good. Now, procurement, e-procurement. What's e-procurement mean? It's electronic. Now, procurement, you can go physically and buy things in your own hand. You can go buy metal, buy winter, timber, anything. You can go purchase, and you bring it by trucks or by sea, whichever way you like. You can buy e-procurement, online ordering, which is all of us, we order many things online, you know. And spending analysis, so how much you're going to spend. Let's say you wanted to build a small puzzle at home. So you start buying the screws, nuts, you start buying the actual metal little straps, you start buying a lot of things. So that's why we call it e-procurement. You wanted to make a small car at home, so you can buy a few. And that's what e-procurement all that. Obviously, big factories, they have e-procurement for their international and a global supply chain. Procurement, when you can do the procurement yourself directly, as procurement from hand to hand, when you go physically and buy things from retailer shops, or even buy raw materials if you need to produce. Let's say, I'll give you an example. I wanted to build a fence for my house. So I went to the actual timber factory retailer and I purchased wooden timbers, raw materials, and I brought it in. Then you start nail it and shape it and cut it and do all that to make your fence. Or you can just go and buy the ready fence strap and you just bolt it in. So it all depends on you how you want to do it, and that's where the procurement sit in, procurement and e-procurement and that. Now, where the spending analysis come from is how much I would like to spend. So let's read about procurement. What does it mean? Why do we need it? Okay. So, procurement, I would like to, because I cannot see the full screen. Okay. The procurement is a sum of total effort. Goes into acquiring or purchasing any goods or materials, and that's to be supplied during the logistics engine of functioning. This includes, procurement can include sourcing, supplies, selling, contracts, managing, everything within that procurement. Now, let's see what else is it. You can see there as well, actually. Apologies. So this is how you identify your best procurement process on the screen. First, number one, you need to identify goods or services. What goods do I need? What do I need to buy? What services I do? Second one, I need to explore and select the vendors. I explore and select where to buy from. Let's say many of you have your own favorite grocery shop. You go to this store, not the other store. Why? Because you explore their products and vendors and you know what you like and you don't like. Third, you put a requisition to buy. Obviously, that's you do it online. Don't do that in supermarkets. You do requisition. I would like to purchase this element. After that, they're going to issue with you with purchase order. You're going to create a purchase order yourself, like you want to purchase this kind of goods. Because often when you request the materials, they give you a price. They said it would cost you this X amount of money. Then you decide, say, okay, well, I would like to purchase then. And you issue a purchase order for them. Or you just maybe pay cash. Then you receive the order, pay for it. And as soon as you pay for it, the goods will be out on the road on transportation. I was going to deliver to you based on the time. You know, so that's how it works. You know, you know, and that's how you're managing your overall process. You know, it's one of these things. You know, when you're managing that, there is no other way really by managing it. All what you can do, looking at the screen, you can basically do actually. Are you actually seeing the screen or you're not? Probably. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah. So you can maybe say, I don't really need every single process on this 7 steps. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe you go to supplier and you decide with them, you agreed, okay, give me your list of products and I do a repeatable order, a repeatable payment for goods. So you don't need to go through all these steps every single time, because one purchase order remain open and you get everything got delivered, transported, and recorded on time. So you can decide your own process as well, which way you like it and the way is efficient. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as you do things, and that would be that would be great as you would be managing the overall process yourself. Now, what else? Now, for me, the next point is the procurement outsourcing. We call it outsourcing, really. So, what's the outsourcing? Outsourcing is a process and activity of finding external source. That means something I cannot produce in house. I cannot produce in house. Many of us in our home, we only consumers. We don't produce anything. So you would like to purchase something from external third party to take on management and provision of services. So the outsourcing is you finding that external or third party in order to manage your purchases, which is great. So this is where the purchasing outsourcing is. Now, the next one is you can use a non-core activities for business may have a skills or in-house. Basically what that means, you remember when I put the example of BMW car manufacturers, we said 10-15% produced in Germany, so the quality, expertise, and skills are in-house. However, air conditioning unit from Japan, maybe they got the more expertise and knowledge and the technology for that and the better quality. So that's when I say non-core activity of business to be purchased from others who they have more skills and expertise in-house than you in order for you to complete your project or service, which is the car. That's it. The outsourcing procurement. You can scale it up or scale it down based on your needs. If you're going to start producing half of the car of 90% of the car in-house, that means you're only going to outsource 10%. No problem. It all depends. This could be upscaled, downscaled based on your. Let's say, for example, you was purchasing the air conditioning from Japan. Historically, you start having problems with delivery, cost, and the quality of this air conditioning. What you try to do, you try to find out that whether could I manage to get the overall process and activities to done in-house, or in another factory or manufacturer in Germany or nearby, things like that. So that's when that would be making sense, and that would be making the difference of where we need to be during that process. But anyway, you should know what you need to outsource in your procedure and your production line and all that. Now, the other point there, larger businesses are most likely to consider outsourcing. Absolutely. Why larger businesses? Because the larger business, it will be not possible to have a factory for every single element. Let's say this is bottle of water. It's not possible for me to produce the label, to produce the cap, to produce the plastic, to produce the water, to produce everything. because I'll be specialist maybe only producing clear water. So I need to get the bottles from somewhere, the plastic bottles. I will not be expert because each single production will have a unique machines, a unique processes, a unique processing procedure, chemicals, cleaning, maintenance, and all that. So I go to the expertise where they have it, and I purchase the bottle. Then I fill it up with water myself because I have the water and chlorination to clear the water. Simple like that. Same for the cars. Larger businesses, they consider to go on many other places, you know, to purchase things as they need to cover things within their factory. I'm going to go and purchase a number of parts from outsourcing it from different countries rather than me establish half of my country to produce that. You know what I mean? Things like that. And as you said, those obviously, when there is a procurement function, you remember we said that when there is a procurement function, there will be a great deal of element of managing the transportation, warehousing, inventory, receiving, and you remember the previous slides, purchase orders and requisitions and order checking goods, payments, and all that. So there's a number of activities within the outsourcing. Now, what is the benefit of outsourcing? Let's read it on the screen, actually. What is the benefit? Do we have any benefits? First, outsourcing save time, allowing you to focus on other operations. Indeed, when you purchase things from others to assemble it, that will help you focus on other things, maybe on the quality of your final product once you assemble, rather than you keep yourself busy by manufacturing navigation systems and air conditioning for cars, rather than you assemble it so you can just see a final product, your car, how good is it overall. Category expertise and knowledge apply to your firm. Exactly. So you say, we're expertise producing cars and design them, but you're not expertise producing the seats for the car. So you go to someone else who's do it for you properly, and then you assemble it to your specs. Help to reduce cost associated. Absolutely, absolutely. Because how many departments you will have, how many functions, how many that, all that will uplift your overhead. But when you have another countries or another factories, other countries could be really cheaper. Plus the one final one, on-demand resources is scalable. What that means is I would have a great opportunity for me to look at project requirement and specific resourcing when I want to. Now, I'm really happy with this slide because this slide pretty much summarizes it all in the absolutely right way of doing it. Now, before I come to e-procurement, which is more we're going to talk about the NHS really, which is the healthcare. But anyway, has anyone got any questions, sirs? Benjamin, Wizzy, Wigili, Trot. I think you don't have any questions, otherwise you will interrupt us by now. Anyway, by the way, I didn't say that at the beginning. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday. Is one of these things. It's one of these things need to covered and Friday, and then when you got the weekend after that, it's all lined up. So next, e-procurement. E-procurement. It is very important, as you can see in the screen, and you remember the NHS. I try to search for you on the latest the NHS. I put to you in the screen, but there is another one. I want to show you the full process. I'll try to find that for you because one of these things, and we can go on. Okay. But I found something for you. I'm going to share it with you. It's like a video. Uh, when we produce we will produce what are the difficulties on supply chain and healthcare. Now we all of us remember during COVID was a lot of problems happened. One of these things when there is no mask, there is no oxygen, people laying on the floor, there is no beds, and that's what's showing you that's the demand management of demand, how the ways got driven. Now let's find out what's going on. E-procurement. Under the e-procurement, online, typically describe business to business purchases that being made online. Simple. There is no different to the previous one there as a procurement outsourcing. However, this one online, it is just describing business to business purchasing, ledger, purchase orders, all that were to be done online in a digital platform on it. Simple as that. One of these things, and it is obviously will explain to you what do we need and what can we require. Obviously, you're going to agree the template of their email, the format, how you purchase things, and all that. Now, this is also rather broad description of many transactions. It is very broad, really. One of these things. What do we need to cover? What do we need to do in order to do that procurement? Think of like Amazon business, Amazon, eBay. They all do electronic and all. E-procurement is designed to work with common business processes. So e-procurement is like an ERP software, businesses. So all that incorporate purchases orders and how the process on that. So basically, the NHS they had a lot of difficulties actually, and one of these things they had difficulties in order to do everything online, purchase orders, invoices, bulk shipping, and other commercial documents and all that. It's really a lot of things to be done. Where a number of activities and a number of suppliers and a number of supply chain and shops are involved in that process. That's what could make it overcomplicated and things would be well drawn on. Now, the spending analysis. Before I move to this, actually, I will take only. I'll give for you guys. I'll give you a couple of minutes of break because I need to go and search for you on that the NHS materials which I want to share with you. But I'll give you 1 minute or 2 minutes of break, and then I'll get back to you in a second. But as well, I'm going to keep that for you to read as I am there doing searching for that for you, so I can share that with you Okay, so well, I found some materials there. Let me show it with you. Oh, hi. No, everything's fine. I'm just trying to get you some new materials there because I've covered this a couple of weeks actually. It was a section where did we cover the supply chain under COVID circumstances. So let me share that with you. If you give me a minute, I'm just pulling out the materials for you to show you. Okay. Now, sorry, I just need to share something else with you. So I need to show you this is a very freshly and newly made. We're just going to cover it for 5 minutes because I want to show you something specifically. Then we go back to ours. Okay, so new shares. Here we go. Okay, so can you see supply chain and logistics during COVID? Can you see that, please? Oh, great, you can see that. Okay, so let me show you. Oh, perfect. Sorry, guys. Yeah, sorry, guys. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry, guys, because I have to look for this because it was not part of today. So, okay. So what are we talking about here? Let me show you. I want to show you the COVID short-term impact and COVID challenges. What are they? So during COVID, that's on the screen, the difficulties we had. All over the sudden, the priority and the demand has changed. And when you look at the priority there, the capacity has changed. The timeline has changed. The actual demand has changed. Transport, size of cargoes, all that has changed because all of a sudden, rather than countries asking for rice, for water, for this, like that, they start asking for mask and oxygen. So that's where the difficulties aligned. So what are the challenges? Let's have a look. This is just, we're going to read it for 5 minutes. The challenges on supply chain during COVID. Reduction in passenger traffic flow. It was really hard to traffic. And no one wants to go from country to another. No one wants to go borders. Basically, there is test, COVID, virus, or even the borders may be closed. In April, we found 40% drop on traffic because of stay-at-home guidance for all countries. Same time, truck traffic increased by 20% because more demand. Capacity for trailers is going to increase and become crucial. Things like that, you know, all that. Short-term impact. Essential versus non-essential. What's essential? What's the short-term impact? One day you start saying, all I want is bread, water, and mask. No one start looking for luxury things anymore. So essential versus non-essential. Where's our priority? What's our demand? Things like that. I'm going to cover that for you guys, all of it, this screen you see in the screen. Very important. And especially big one is what's for the UNICEF. That's it there. We just study that. This is for the UNICEF. We're going to study all that. We're going to learn it in our third session, not today. But I wanted to show you that we have that difficulty came as a short term and what's the exit out from it. Now, let's go back to ours, actually, on the e-procurement. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right one because I'm sharing too many things there. Okay, e-procurement. Here we go. So that's what we said about the online purchasing, and that was happening to NHS. If you read there, during the NHS, it was really, really hard e-procurement due to everything done online, everything bringing from a different source, and during COVID, it was really hard to cope with all that. So that's where the big challenge was for the supply chain and the industry within that. What else? Spending analysis. Now, so many of you might say, how would I know what I'm spending? Now, let me show you. I will do for you a small exercise. Here we go. Let's say you have factory, product, unit cost, total cost, demand. Let's add another one there to the right, to the right. Which is factory, product, unit cost, total cost, demand, and we can do forecast, or we can do inventory or stock remaining. Okay. So this is actually, let's say, a plan you put in together. So factory 1, producing air conditioning. Let's say this is for car, factory of a car. There you go. Air conditioning unit. First one. Let's call that factory of a car. This one is in Japan. There's one in Mexico. They do steering wheels. Okay. Steering wheel. The other one in USA, they do navigation system. Nav system. Okay. Third one in Italy, see they do tires. Tires and suspension for the car. Car suspension, shock absorbers and all that. Okay. Unit cost for this one. Obviously, there's the other challenge on logistics and supply chain here. You're going to deal with each country with a different currency. You know, some of it you're going to deal with them in yen for Japan, dollar, maybe, America dollar, Mexico, Mexican dollar, American dollar. I don't know, Italy, euro. So you're going to deal with them any different. So unit cost, without knowing what unit it is, let's say this one would cost me 400. Let's say dollar, rather than go for anything. Steering wheel, all of it, that would cost me $100. Don't forget, we're talking about wholesalers here. Navigation system, that would be expensive, $800 with all the technologies. Tires and that would be expensive, could be $1,200. So you can imagine now, how many do I need? Let's say total cost, I need per month, I need 100 per month. Let's put that the demand first, and then the total cost come after. 100 per month. Let's do it all per month. Demand per month. Depends on how big your factory. If you're producing 1,000 cars, different than when you're producing 100 cars. So 1,000 cars. I've got 1,000 here. I need 1,000 air conditioning. Steering wheel, I need only 600. Navigation system, I only need 500 because not all cars come with navigation. Tires and suspension, they're all different. None of them have that. So I might need 700 kit. Obviously, total cost will be here. For first one, 400 times 1,000 would be 400,000. 400,000. 600 times 100 would be 60,000 maybe. I think. Yes, probably. This one is harder to do it. So let's do this is 1,000. No, 500. So 4 zeros and 40. 4 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we talk about another 400K. And 1200 times 7. Oh no, that should be harder to do it. Let's do something easier when we can. Let's do 1000. So that would be 1.2 million. 5 zeros, 12, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 1.2 million. So you can imagine now when you look at the total cost, we talk there roughly all of it about 2 million in total. 2 million in total. So that's where my spending analysis. That's total cost is my spend analysis. My spending analysis. That's the total cost on spend analysis. That is there. What do I need to spend? And why and when? Stock remaining. Let's say I've used 900, 100 remaining here, 50 remaining there, 100 remaining there, and 200 remaining there. This is my stock remaining. It's what else I would be make saving because they're already there. So this is what stock level I had. But you remember that stock remaining per month, that means I would have a difference because my demand is higher and my stock is lower what's remaining per month. So I can manage my purchasing for the next month is to top up this. So I think this is pretty clear how we do spend analysis for a different similar standard project. Okay, so let me save this. Let me move back into the actual spend analysis. What does it tell us? Let's have a look. We explained it all. First, you can see on the screen, what are we buying? Navigation system, air conditioning, what are we buying? Products. Prices, how much you're paying for, we did that. Unit cost and total cost. How much do we have in budget? Do we have money to afford this? Do we need funding? Suppliers, who are the suppliers? In Mexico, in Japan, what's their name and all this? Who do we buying for? We're buying it for our business, definitely. What's are the terms? Terms is terms of payments and all that. And then there comes the procurement. So it's not a big deal for you because the main thing you want to follow the full process and the structure. You need to have full visibility of spending, warehouses, and expenditures. You know, that's the main thing. Full visibility of spend, identifying of savings and opportunities, streamline operations, manage the risk, full visibility of spend, identify savings, you know, improve suppliers' performance, look at them, benchmark what do we need, data-driven sourcing and all that, manage the risk, streamlining and all that. So this is really what your spending analysis is all about. You need to have full visibility of your plan, what's materials coming, what's quantity, where do I need to store them, cost on inventory, all that, and we go from there. And we identify the saving opportunities. Okay? So let's move on. I'm happy with the progress. Sorry, has anyone got any questions? Has anyone got any questions, please? Any questions, sir? Any question regarding the spend analysis or the procurement? Clear, very clear. Thank you very much. Great. Now, let me just refer quickly to the assignment to make sure if we need to cover anything. Which is pretty clear. I'm pretty sure that we covered it. Okay. Critical evaluation of impact of import-export, procurement importancy, evaluate strategic of warehouse location, capacity design, said about all this. That was all explained last week, actually. Analyze operational issue, packaging, storage, and all that. Explain multi-sources packaging. Yeah, actually, it's pretty simple, to be fair. The requirements, Class on logistics. Okay. Okay. Now, good. Now I'm happy with that. Now let's move on to the next part. Okay. By the way, guys, have you actually got shared with you the assignment yet, or you will get it later? What do you do, assignments or exams? Does any of you know yet? Assignments or exams? Assignments, yeah, perfect.
Assignment, actually.
Yeah.
That's no exam. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. Have you actually received it yet or not? Because I
Actually, we have, yes, we have downloaded from the website,
from the website.
from the school, yes.
No, that's
So it's
great.
already there. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. That's good. Good to know. That's great. Okay, so the only thing is, as I said, the lecturer for last week, it was covering a lot of logistics and almost like 60-70% of the assignment. But what I will do in my third session with you next week, I think it's Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday. I don't know. I don't remember now, but we can check. They're going to update us. We can then study 2 hours on covering more of the assignment and exploring the subject to be very related to the assignment. Okay. Now, next one. What is the modern logistics management? What is the modern? What do we do? How can we do analysis? How do we do procurement activities with less hassle? How do we have an intelligent process? Now, the modern logistics itself, it's called as a number of activities from the procurement combined within the shipping, warehousing, inventories, and all that in the logistics. The purpose of that logistics is efficiency of operation, material requisitions, movement of storage. What does that mean? I will have a tracking system and a tracking device to know where all things are going, which is I didn't have that in the past. That's very important. Very, very interesting. When transportation happen, I can trace and track start and finish time and the load and what I'm receiving and when. That would give me input and output on each side. Obviously, as we said, outsourcing would be all tracked and digitalized and well tracked. That would save a lot of time of I know what I'm doing. So this is where the modern logistics looks like. Now, we know the logistics again as a traditional term is a process of planning, implementing, and control efficient activities from source of materials to the consumer or source of materials to production. We know that. And this is by the Council of Logistics Management in 1985. The modern logistics, which might be slightly different, it's continuous process to meet the customer's need and availability of a quantity and condition to the customer on time and in place. What that mean? Means I digitalized my process. Everything to be tracked, timelined, well processed. I can see the start and finish and all I can see that. And I'll show you the video as well and how this works. Components of the logistics systems of the modern one, it's customer service. And again, transportation, storage, and packaging should be normal. One additional one, which is information processing, which is we didn't have that. I look at informations and that tell me what I'm doing. And I'll show you example now. Purchasing, facility of location, and reverse. Now, let me show you. I want to show you now, I want to share a video with you actually. Now, it's really important. I'll try to share it with you now. something called Shanko. Okay, 1 second. I think I found this. Yes. Okay.
So I've got my essay written, and I'm
Okay, I will share a video with you guys now. It is very important to see it together, and then after that we discuss it and see what's going on. Now let me share it with you. New screen. Here we go. I'm sure you're going to see it because this is YouTube. And I will share. If it is loud, please. If it is loud, make sure you adjust your volume because I have no options doing it. But let's watch it together. Let's watch it together. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. I just see a message. Let me answer before we start with the video. I was enrolled 3 days before, a bit later in the course, having these slides. Oh, yeah, of course you would have the slides. Definitely. I emailed the HR lady and the enrollment team. Definitely, they're going to share everything with you. Definitely. Okay, so let's go back to the sharing. Yes, and I'm sharing that on the screen. Okay, let's start.
A major grocery store sells over 25,000 different products. Each product has unique requirements driving decisions within the supply chain each day. If a product isn't available on the shelf, it will not be sold. Getting products to the customer reliably and efficiently is what we enable daily. DD Schenker is a business partner you can trust with the dedicated resources, world-class expertise, and industry-leading technologies to optimize your supply chain, truly adding value and making your service more reliable. As a global provider with worldwide experience, we offer international supply chain solutions, including dedicated or shared warehousing, integrated distribution, and value-added services. Our customer solutions are developed with practical knowledge of operating warehouses with world-class building standards, such as managing temperature control requirements or maintaining certifications according to the highest industry standards. DB Schenker offers dedicated warehouse.
You can see there, guys, how complex is this? This guy with a handling forklift or wheels, or I don't know what you're going to call it. And then he said, I need two. I need two of this. This is the number. Bring me two. So he can take it to the manufacturing place. So you can see how they're managing their warehouses and all this complexity. Now, are we going to see this? And then I'm going to show you one about Volkswagen as well, the car manufacturing, because we've been talking earlier. So let's continue this.
Implementing countback functionality with voice
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry, because I was talking. No, what I'm saying is, I was going to get you the car manufacturing specific one for Volkswagen. This is the one I would like you to see because it is the one when they have the barcodes and the time in and the time out and the logics there. So I would like you to see that one. Just which one is the videos there, so we can see how Volkswagen managing their own warehouse. Cover this one. Okay. Automotive aftermarket logistics is the best. How many warehouse? Let's find out. Find it. Let's find out about this. I just want to show their automated system, really, what they're using. Okay, so I think it's this one. Let's have a look at this one, guys, and then we go back to our slide.
Everywhere. Bring me assessments.
Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. This kind of systems. Basically, these systems are logging in what parts are in, what parts are out. Plus, it does show you when you want to produce a car, what parts are missing or coming out of your inventory and when. And that start giving you indications of when I'm going to run out of this part, when I'm going to run out of that part. And that will show you then the difficulty of how to manage the logistics and warehousing. But this type of softwares and this type of intelligence, modern logistics, before it used to be done by papers. Now this is easier. Let's watch a bit more about it, really. Concentrate on this part, please. So I think we stop sharing this. I think we covered enough. So the modern logistics, you have seen a warehouse with a 20, 30 stories up, robot working there, go to specific aisle bringing equipment. So you can see, and they mentioned many times, everything barcoded, everything got a serial specific number, everything actually managed in the right way and all stored and covered properly and packed properly. Don't forget, all these things also are coming from different manufacturers. So you might design your warehouse is when you upload things, is not where you're taking things out for production. This is the way you're managing your layout. This is the challenges you're facing. Transportation, packaging, warehousing. How big is the warehouse? The location of the warehouse. What is just coming just on time? What is not going to be delivered? If it is a piece damaged, all need to have serial numbers, model numbers, barcodes. Barcodes will show you how this equipment's moving inside your warehouse, whether it is missing, if it is coming, where it is going. All that you can see, the handling, the automated within that system, how complex is it? And that's what is built your actual system. Okay. So I don't think she will have questions, but I'll continue with this modern logistics. So that will cover all for us today. Has anyone got any questions to what you saw on the screen? I only have 3 students anyway left. We only like 4 of us, 3 was 4. Has anyone got any questions at all, please? I think, how does logistics companies like, is that delivery track? Oh, the delivery track, what they do, processing orders, yes. What do? They order the parts from different places. How they track it? They track it, again, by the time leaving factory. Then they could have a track devices on trucks, our cars, or they can have a time scale dedicated. Historically, they know it's 2 weeks by sea, 1 week by that, and they know it's 3 weeks until to receive to the doorstep. So they track it that way. They track it by track devices, by satellite navigations, by putting a certain sensor equipment who go to the satellite navigation, show them where they are. Same as your navigation system in your car. They can have that in their big containers and the products. Plus, they're going to know historically, always when you purchase goods or something, they said to you going to be delivered within 4 weeks. So that 4 weeks should be the worst case scenario, might get it early. So what they do, they work on that proactively by ordering things well in advance. So they make sure that they don't run things last minute. But they will have a track devices, sensors, but plus then they're going to be given a delivery time of the maximum. So that's how they're managing their logistics, the companies on delivery time. Has anyone else got any questions, please? Any questions? Okay. So let's continue with this. Continue with the remaining of slides until 2 o'clock. Sorry, it's 2 o'clock ready until 2:30, or maybe earlier than that. And then we see questions and answers at the end, and then we move on, covering almost that covered all logistics. Plus, we will have the COVID section, which we need to cover later. Okay. So next one down. Logistics now, the modern perspective. You can see there is a lot of things. I just answered the questions, a lot of things to trace. Can you see there? On the truck, there is a compressor, there's a sensors there. On temperature, on trace, where is it going? All to the satellite, to the cloud. As soon as it's leaving suppliers, as soon as it leaves distribution, come to the market, there is sensor. Let's say this is grocery. There is sensors of temperature, there is sensor of compressor sensors, there's a sensors of where is he, where he's driving, and all that in the cloud. A proper system to manage the network and sensorize where everything's censored. And there's also door sensor. When you open the door, everyone would know that. So you can see that the distribution center warehouse, they've got a full tracking system in the modern technology or logistics that everything is happening. Most important things for them is the temperature, obviously, because of the grocery, but you don't need it for others. But also you can have a data for that, no problem. Compressor is for keeping the heat and the temperature cooling, and obviously sensor to trace it, to know where the truck is. In the cloud, there is a computer you can access in the cloud and see where it is. That's probably definitely does answer the question for you on that video. I've lost another student. We only have 2 left actually, but we'll have to continue as well. I hope everyone is well. So that's how the modern technology and the modern supply chain logistics is. Next one. Typical of logistics. You have the factory to another factory, logistics center, retailer, customer, disposal center, recycling, then come back again after recycling again to either raw materials to become a factory as well. So this is the typical types of logistics you might come across. Modern transport of logistics, we explained it. In North America, there is 780 billion of US dollar expecting to become 900 on all these cargoes by next year. So all this, the modern technologies and the modern transportation by trace and track where things are going and how the road and network logistics and where the tracks are and how long it takes us. And can you use a different road? Can we use sea instead of trucks and all that? That will make the difference of our decision making by transportation, saving time, saving cost and all that. Again, modern logistics, talking about the railway, using railways maybe if actually it is the cost is less and the time is less, we can use that for transportation. Rail freight of the industry, it costs 1.7 billion in economics benefits. It's also rail networks could be used as another option. Obviously, maritime or logistics or the sea logistics in the UK and others is always 90% of everything arrived by sea. The reason for that, because UK is an island. However, for other countries, could we be by truck or by car, all depends, or by railway. But because UK is an island, so everything, 90% of the goods arrive by sea, as you can see there. Plus, any other countries would be more also interesting. Modern transport using airways logistics. This is another story as well. Typically constrained on geographical basis and to see what we can cover. If there's something really far, something really special delivery or a quicker delivery, could be, or special products really valuable that might be go through the airplanes. And obviously you can know a lot of the cargoes, maybe letters, maybe other type of cargoes could be all delivered by airplane coming to airports, cargo kind of airplanes. There's many of it, which is also operates on 24/7, delivering cargoes by airplane. However, difficulties is for that is the rain, fog, and the weather circumstances. Transport of logistics. This is a different one. Now, many of you might ask, the gas and the fuel and the water and the gas coming in the pipelines. This is definitely come under logistics and supply chain. You receive your water by water pipes. You receive your gas by gas pipes. All these pipes, either gas or water or others, or petroleum or chemical, they all come transportation via pipelines. That's the logistics. They come from the raw materials, go to the factory, could be by trucks or could be by pipes, and then get produced there to the products we're going to consume. And that the consumption of that product, either pipelines, transportation of gas and water, we also representing pipes, where it's get delivered and processed and manufactured or processed, and then it be delivered to the houses. So this is also part of the logistics and the layout of pipes. Modern transportation, again to multi-model, saying logistics members represent 90% of railway, 70% or by the sea, and operates 2,000 heavy-duty vehicles. So there is a number of multiple, which is, you can see there, the airplanes, the trucks, and everything, all there, pipes, obviously, all that with modern logistics, which is back old days. Maybe it used to be only trucks or only in an old fashionable way. Telecommunications. Now, we've explained that in very detailed. You put sensors in your trucks, you put tracking devices, you also put information for your warehouse showing the start, delivery time, approaches, where the goods are starting and where they're ending, where they're going to get delivered to me, all barcoded, all serial numbers, model, everything showing me the volume and time consuming, and so that's all we do. telecommunications for mobility services on economic sector, very important. Sensors and track everything for your products and goods. They're very important for you to manage your overall process. So this is one of the things really crucial nowadays. And many of you have seen DPD or DHL and all that. They show you step by step where your goods are and where all your other stuff are going. Next one, which is very important as well, the warehousing. I think we covered enough of that when we watched about DB Schenker and Volkswagen, and we have seen how we receive it, then we store it in a big high rack, 30, 20 racking system warehouse, and then the robots work to bring it based on serial number and that. And the storage location is well temperatured. They talked about ventilation, talk about temperature, they talk about everything like that, and really the level of quality there, and the level of robotics and the sensors and the tracking devices in the warehouse, all this supporting the modern technology. But plus, also once you store it, now you can see that on the screen. Really, is really clear there. You have an inflow of stock which is received, put away, and then storage only. Then you need it later when you go to the outflow. Storage, you pick it up to packing, packing to shipment. Some of you might say, is it easier for me to receive it and leave it straight when it's packing? Yes, of course, why not? It's up to you. You might have packing and unpacking process in the middle, but by all means, once you receive it, you put it away, you store it in a proper place, then from store, go to packing and shipping. So that's how actually the overall process are working. But again, you have seen the number of robots, the manual handling, the numbering, everything is well organized and done. Now, warehouse anywhere, they are everywhere, the warehouses. And I will show you an example of one-page grocery sale or two-page courier or three, and you see what the steps. Now, from 1 to 5 party logistics, you're going to see the difference. Let's have a look. First one there. It's only one farmer. One farmer, and he's got grocery. Farmer shop. His farm, straight away to his grocery, he's selling. This is dead easy. Okay? I have a two farmer of a grocery shop. I will have farmers, deliveries with the trucks, then go to grocery, because coming from two different origins, I would have delivery. Okay? If I have more than three, fulfillment of trucks would be eggs, transport, and grocery, all that. So that means I have packing, I have warehouses, and then I have delivery, because they're coming from two different places to the grocery, because this is a multiple complex one. And this is all in the same country. Now, if I have international, with a logistics company in the middle, strategically looking at, I mean, I have things coming from different countries. They might have also packing and warehousing, then delivery in a multiple ways to go to grocery, because they're coming from different countries. The final one, which is the most complex one, which is the full section, is a logistic company to manage the entire network of supply chain. And that's when you have logistics, warehousing, and the grocery, they all under the same company, which is like the big supermarkets. Many of them, when you go, you find a product on that name of that supermarket, which is different, not like produced from others. If they're produced from others, you're going to need these two steps. The lower ones there, because there's a lot of delivery, a lot of tracking and all that. But if they're produced by themselves, that'll be easy. Now, this is also an example of how the technology in newer warehouses are working. Revisiting what did we learn? Now, unfortunately, because you wasn't with us last week, maybe, or you're joining us this, we have didn't cover the full logistics as it is. However, we have learned what issues arise with the supply chain from logistics, delays on deliveries, factory in different country, warehouse location is not good. We have also learned and discussed what procurement and e-procurement mean, and how to operate it. We also widely expressed how the warehouse looking, packaging, robots there, barcodes in and out, and this is what cover all your logistics needs actually. We also explained what logistics management systems are, how do we operate them, and what do we need? What are they? They're the engine and processor for the supply chain umbrella itself. So keep that in mind. And also, obviously, we explained briefly how the advantages and disadvantages of different modes of transport. Different modes of transport are sea, airplanes, railways, and the ones we produced there, and they are all have a different time scale and different costs. So these kind of modes will affect your way of operating as a cost-wise and time scale. Let's say if you get a part by sea and will cost you less, however, it's urgent to produce, you might get to buy airplane to get it quicker, but you pay more. But would your cost of your final product accommodate that? That's something for you to answer and know. So this is really what we covered as a learning objectives. Much more we learned, obviously, but this is really what you need to cover your assignment. And finally, the task is, which is I don't have a group, probably I only have 2 students left or 1 student. It is really at the end of sessions, we do more of group research about supply chain, score model, performance matrix, but we study more of those. I will cover the big industries like Schneider and Walmart and IKEA. Now, all these guys, they use supply chain. Shell, Sainsbury, IKEA, McDonald's, Schneider Electric, Cisco, everyone, Toyota, everyone there, they're using everything to do the supply chain. Now, I will stop sharing and we might go through some questions and answers because I think we covered enough and I'm happy to what we covered so far. So has anyone got any questions? I only got